So most real estate agents post on socials, when they remember to, and usually on very limited topics, such as listings. They sit down on a Tuesday, stare at a blank screen, and eventually post a listing photo with 3 hashtags and call it content marketing. So somewhere out there right now, an agent is typing the words just listed, followed by a house emoji, and considering that a marketing strategy. So I just want to show you a different system that I picked up at an EXP convention. I'm just about to launch it, so the results are going to be real time here. So this is a system where you never run out of what to say, and one piece of good content can easily turn into 10 without doing 10 times the work. I'm Bryer. I'm a real estate advisor here in Calgary, and I've spent the last few months building a content system using these AI tools that should take my channel from nothing to a real working pipeline here. So again, full disclosure, the actual reason I'm filming this video is that I'm teaching this system to my entire team in a workshop tomorrow, which means I needed to sound like I knew what I'm doing before the date on the calendar arrived, whether I was ready or not, okay? But there is a more honest reason underneath that one too. My wife Neola was the one who pushed me to actually do this, to get what I know out there to more people instead of just keeping it in my head or just helping the individual client I was at the time. So she believed in this before I did. So part of this is for the team, part of this is for her, and of course, part of it is for me, and obviously the people out there that this can help. So this is where I actually am. I have a handful of long form videos done, good, valuable content. Website is not even really fully launched yet, so I haven't done a ton of the shorts. So yeah, technically I'm standing in front of you teaching a content system that I have not finished proving works, but I have taken these tips from the best of the best in order to create it. So perhaps this might be exactly the right way to build an audience, or I'm just a guy with a teleprompter and a nice navy jacket who's extremely good at sounding confident and maybe has good thumbnails. Okay, time will tell. But the theory really holds up. The steps are sound, and somebody has to go first. So let's go through it and we can all find out together whether I was right or not. So this is really the exact system in 5 steps, okay? So step 1 is finding your niche. So before any content system works, you need to know, who you're actually talking to. Not home buyers in your city. That's not a niche. That is everyone. And that's also every single competitor in your market describing themselves in the exact same 6 words on the exact same generic website template. Here's mine, just for an example. So I spent over 20 years in residential construction and exterior building products before I became a real estate advisor. A lot of those in sales. So that means when I walk through a home, I'm not just looking at the finishes and like listing photos. I'm seeing flashing details, window condition, roof condition, the quality of the materials being used, and using those things to negotiate. Or maybe it's renovation work that could be hiding something underneath. That is my niche, right? So construction informed real estate guidance. And not many in my market, if any, can authentically claim that. So, your niche is sitting in your own background somewhere. Could be a previous career, a specific life experience, a type of client that you understand better than anyone else in the room. And you got to find that. So just get really specific on it. So step 2 is building your ideal client avatar. So once your niche is clear, build one specific person in your mind, not a demographic, a person. So what are they actually worried about right now? What question are they typing into Google at 11 p.m. to find an answer for? Probably something like, is now a terrible time to buy? Typed by someone who has had this tab open for 6 straight nights, okay? What would make them trust an agent immediately? When you write content for one specific person instead of a vague audience, the content gets sharper, okay? It stops sounding like marketing. It starts sounding like you're talking to someone because you are, okay? So step number 3 is knowing what to post every single time. So here's where most agents kind of get stuck. They know they should post, they do not know what to post about. So this is kind of where the AI and Claude becomes your content strategist. So once you have your niche and your ideal client avatar, you can ask Claude directly, based on this avatar, give me 5 video topics this week that answer a real question that they're asking. And it generates specific, relevant topics grounded in who you actually are trying to reach. So you're never just starting from a blank page again. You basically have a variety that you can pick from. So step 4, turn the idea into a script. So if you want to, not saying you have to, but it's a good tool. So once you have a topic, Claude can also build a full teleprompter ready script around it that you want to just go through and fix, make sure that it's your character, and it doesn't have any mistakes in it, right? So you give it the topic, any personal story or credibility points that you want included, your tone, and any compliance considerations specific to your license, of course. And what comes back is generally pretty structured. It's generally in your own voice, and it's ready to read directly off a teleprompter, frankly, if you want to go that route. So, you can use the large spacing, numbers spelled out phonetically, no stage directions, cluttering the page. You just walk in front of the camera and you read the script, especially for the long form, because it's pretty tough to memorize a lot of these long courses, right? So step 5, next is you're clipping it, scheduling it, and maximizing your reach. So, before we get into the rules, you need to understand what each format is actually for. So, short form and long form are not competing with each other whatsoever. They do 2 completely different jobs. Short form content, reels, shorts, TikToks, this is purely for visibility. Its job is to get in front of as many new people as possible, as fast as possible. And nobody is hiring an agent off a 15-second video, okay? It's not what it's for. Now, long form content, this is your full YouTube videos. These are for conversion. This is where someone actually gets to know you. They're going there from your shorts to learn, right? So they're hearing your reasoning, seeing how you think, and they decide whether or not to trust you with one of obviously the biggest financial decisions of their life. So again, short form gets the stranger to stop scrolling. Long form turns that stranger into a lead. Now, if you only make short form content, you get views and no depth. Now, if you only make long form content, you get depth, but almost nobody finds it, right? So you really need both. Short form to be seen, long form to be trusted. So let me show you why visibility actually matters here and why I'm not just making this up to sound smart. Okay, so here's a chart really just showing the social platforms and the monthly active users. So here in this chart currently, we've got Facebook with 3.1 billion monthly users. Okay, YouTube right behind it at 2.65 billion. Okay, Instagram 2.1 billion. YouTube Shorts alone, not even the main platform, just the short clips, 2 billion people. Okay, TikTok 1.6 billion. And then you've got LinkedIn 1.3 billion. Though I would guess most of these people are pretending to be busy at work while scrolling it on it for, with a second monitor. And then of course there's X sitting at around 600 million, which in this lineup is basically the guy standing alone at the company party insisting he's having a great time. But here's the point. Every single one of those numbers is bigger than the population of Canada. Several of them are bigger than the population of North America. So this is the audience sitting on the other side of a 15-second clip that you're too nervous to post, right? Now, again, you're not competing for attention in Calgary. You're competing for attention against literally billions of people scrolling at the exact same moment you are, which is exactly why short form has to be everywhere. And long form has to be the place that actually closes the deal once someone stops scrolling long enough to find you, okay? Now, here's how it actually works and how to execute that. So again, one long form video should produce 5 to 10 short form clips. So tools like Vizard or Opus Clip, they identify the strongest moments automatically for you and they format them, for whichever platform that you need. But here's where most agents leave value on the table. They post every clip from the video in the same week, all at once, and then their feed goes quiet for the next month. So here are the rules that actually maximize the reach. So never post 2 clips from the same video on the same platform in the same week. Spread your clips across 4 to 6 weeks instead of dumping them all at launch. So match your caption style to each platform. Post consistently rather than in bursts, and platforms do reward accounts that show up regularly, not accounts that disappear for 3 weeks and then post 6 times in one day, okay? So, and also you can repost your best performing clips 2 to 3 weeks later just with a new caption because most people never saw it the first time, okay? So every short form clip should point back to the long form video or to a conversation with you. So that's the whole point of the system: visibility, feeding conversion. One video filmed once can become 5 to 6 weeks of consistent content across every platform you use. So what to do next? Really just 5 steps. Find your niche, number 1. Build your ideal client avatar. Use Claude to know what to post. Turn the idea into a script. Clip it, schedule it, and follow the reach rules. Okay, and you do not need to be a video editor. You do not need to be a marketer. You need about 15 minutes a week and a system you actually follow. So if you want to walk through this in more detail or see how it applies to your specific situation, just reach out. I'm Derek Bryer, and we will see you in the next one. And fingers crossed, it works. Take care.